It's HKIR week here in Hong Kong as we build into the Turf World Championships coming up at Sha Tin on Sunday afternoon. Before then, we've got the Longines International Jockeys Championship coming up at Happy Valley on Wednesday night, where 6 of the best from Hong Kong take on 6 of the best from the United Kingdom and France. Great to have your company here on Racing to Win. I'm Tom Wood, joined by Paul Lally and Ed Sadler, our form analysts here on the show. And Ed, terrific night coming up with the 9-race program and the 4 IJC races.
Certainly, Tom, their races 4, 5, 7 and 8. It's terrific to be part of the show with you this week. It's a bit of a different international week, of course, like with so many international sporting events in 2020. But we've got some top-class jockeys coming to town for this meeting. 6 from Hong Kong, 6 from overseas, some familiar faces like Ryan Moore, but also some newcomers like Tom Marquand and Holly Doyle.
It'll be great to see them in action tomorrow night at Happy Valley. Paul, one jackpot to speak of, but some of those races through the course of the evening are very even.
Oh, very even races throughout. Yeah, you're right there, Tom. It's going to be some good punting if you get the winners there. The jackpot you're talking about is the triple trio jackpot, $2 million to start off. So expecting it to get up to about $6 million for a winning $10 unit. So that's on races 5, 6 and 7, of course, with a 9-race program.
Yeah, great night of racing coming up at the Valley. We'll hone in on the form there shortly, but let's take a look back at what happened at Sha Tin for the program on Sunday afternoon. We had a mixed program at Sha Tin on Sunday with the 6 on the all-weather and 4 on the turf. And, well, the best race we saved until last. It was Class 2 on the all-weather over 1,200 metres. And, Ed, it was some performance here. Amazing Chocolate. Sitting wide, as we know you can do on the all-weather, but, gee, was good at a big price. He
was indeed. As you say, Tommy, had to cover a bit of ground. This was just his second run for the season. I thought going into the meeting that maybe he'd reached his mark, given that he'd already won 3 races for Tony Millard last season. But this was a terrific performance to beat Will Power, who's a very good dirt horse. And after the race, Tony Millard has already drawn comparisons between Amazing Chocolate and Super Jockey. Well, Paul, if Super Jockey, we know how good he was. If Amazing Chocolate's anywhere near that level of ability, he's going to be an exciting horse for him.
Yeah, exactly. And he took Super Jockey over to Dubai, didn't he? And did run second over there on the all-weather. So a really good run from him. And Will Power ran well once again.
He copped 6 points for that win, did Amazing Chocolate. Pinghai Bravo was terrific down the straight again. Turin Red Star wound back the clock and was able to win for Dennis Ship. And the highest change there, Paul, My Sugar, copped 10 points for his 4-length victory for Jimmy Ting.
He'd been threatening to do that for a while, didn't he? And he got to the front, he led all the way and didn't give any other horse a chance. It was a very impressive win.
Yeah, it certainly was. Suspensions and fines coming out of the meeting as well. I think just the one suspension coming out of the meeting, it was Derek Lung, who picked up a couple of days for his efforts there. So just the one suspension coming through from the last couple of meetings. Time to have a look at our horses to follow. Righto, let's have a look at the horse to follow. I think we're starting with you, Paul. What were you able to find over the last 7 days?
I'm going to go with a horse called Monster Kaka. Now, this horse was coming back from a setback. He was on the inside there, and he didn't get the clearest of runs. We'll see this. He got held up momentarily. Once he did get into the clear, I thought he hit the line really nicely. It was a good run from him. He's only lightly raced, and you can see him just bulking at that gap and then just sort of closed up there, and then it reopened for him. And once he got through, I thought he finished off well. So with this run under his belt now, we're strip fitted for that. And I think he's one we can keep an eye on in the coming months.
Yep, that run behind Excellent Chariot there in Soaring Tower. What did you find, Ed?
I'm going to go back to Happy Valley last Wednesday night, Tom, and to Phenomenal Combo. This was his debut performance. Happy Valley, as we know, is a tricky track. It's never easy for these new horses, particularly racing there for the first time. He went around at $35. Neil Callan was on board. He's trained by Dennis Yip, and I was really taken by the way that he finished off this race. So given all of those sort of things, the way that he's got to the line here, he looks like a horse with a promising future, and I think that on to bigger and better things for him.
I went with the horse that lined up for his first debut outing coming up at Sha Tin last Sunday. That was amazing news out of the stable of Casper Founds. Now, I thought it was a pretty decent run from him. You can see him there in the red and white colours with the baldy white face. He had the same name when he raced in the UK, trained by George Scott. He was a winner at Newmarket, and he also won on the Tapeta service at Wolverhampton. But I thought there was plenty of merit in this run here. Closed off behind some handy horses. You have Igniting there on the rail. Happy Kiji there went a much better race there on the outside. But I thought his run had plenty of merit last time out. Amazing news. I think he might be one to watch for in coming starts out of the stable of Casper Founds. Time to look at the details for the meeting coming up at Happy Valley on Wednesday night. A couple of scratchings to note. Electric Lightning comes out of race 10 and is replaced by race 3, horse number 10 replaced by Natural Winner. And out of race number 7, Flash Famous has been withdrawn. He bled at track work, and Karis Teton takes the ride there on Helene Wisdom Star, wearing saddlecloth number 7. We're on the B course for Wednesday night, 9 races. The IJC races are 4, 5, 7 and 8, and we kick things off with the Australia Handicap. It is Class 5, 1650. Roman and Pero for Mikhail Barcelona, who takes the ride there. Run the table, you've got Wonderful Tiger, who's been consistent enough. Baby Storm has placed in his last couple. Pacifier's come off. The Pacifier with the cowl goes on. Nitro Express hasn't won for a long time. He's drawn gate 1 for Neil Callan. Enjoyable Success, Fairy Floss and Show Mission down towards the bottom has the blinkers off and the cheek pieces going on for Alex Lai. Up at Chung Fa has been Run the Table, Shanghai Dragon, Wonderful Tiger and Enjoyable Success. Ed, for the first, how does the speed map shape up?
I think the pace should be pretty good here, Tom. Whose horse can kick forward? Shanghai Dragon is an on-pace runner, and Fairy Floss is often up on the speed, but he's not the strongest at the finish. So those three can set up a genuine tempo here, Paul.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? Look, here's a horse who's only had the one start in Class 5, and that was over the 1650. I think with that experience under his belt over the distance, this is a second start over 1650. He can improve. He's got Zach Purton aboard and a little bit of a wide draw to contend with, but the horse is going well enough. Shanghai Dragon moves nicely here. Another one who's looking really good, and another one who's been racing really well recently as well. Second last start was good. And you can see he's got a nice shine to that coat as well, so he's nice and healthy. And Nitro Express, the old boy, he was allowed to stretch out here as well. Neil Callan from Barrier 1, he's getting right down in the ratings now. He is a 9-year-old, but look, he goes comfortably in his work.
Let's start off with the replays for the first. We're touching on the top weight first of all. It's Roman and Pero for Dennis Yip. And this horse here ran third last time out with Jerry Chow, carrying 126 pounds. But Ed, it's been a long time between drinks. March 2018, this horse was last prevailing.
Yes, he's won off ratings of 54, 59, 64. He comes into this rate at 40. Hasn't been in Class 5 for long. Was never really comfortable over 1,200 metres tempo-wise, but he still got to the line quite nicely. He'll be much better suited up to this sort of distance.
Yeah, 1650 looks ideal, and he's also those, as you mentioned, he's a Class 3 winner now down here. We're having a second start in Class 5 and ran well over 1,200.
7 of the 12 in this race have never won a race, and here's one of them right here, Shanghai Dragon, a 21 start maiden. I thought given every opportunity in front last start, Paul, he's put on 18 pounds since then. Yeah,
look, he's likely to lead, so if they do leave him alone, there is a couple others who like to lead. I think Whose Horse will kick up as well. Also, Show Mission's a possibility. But look, he's going well enough. I've got him in on a minor line.
He's been close at his last few starts, so he's racing consistently. He tries his best for a horse at this sort of level, so he'll definitely be thereabouts.
One more to have a look at. It's the Peter Ho trained at Baby Storm. We know Peter's horses, Ed, have been going well in Class 5, and he's engaged Joe Moreira, but a tricky stall this time round. Fairy Floss, Enjoyable Success. Thought Run the Table was a little disappointing here last time out.
Baby Storm, yes, he was pretty good on this occasion. He's been placed at his last couple of starts, loomed up to win, just couldn't quite do so. I was concerned, though, with him, Paul, with where he's drawn barrier number 12 here.
Yeah, that put me off. You can see Run the Table. He looked a little bit lost there. This will be his second start in Class 5, so another one I've got on a very minor line.
Class 5, Paul, to open the program. What are the tips?
I'm going to go one of the winners, Roman and Pero. He's a really well-rated horse. Dennis Yip's got stables going well. He's on top to beat Shanghai Dragon. Wonderful Tiger's consistent and Run the Table. 1, 3, 4 and 2. I think the 1 can win again.
I've got the same Cornella in the race, just a different third and fourth pick here. I'm with Roman and Pero as well too. A winning start for the night potentially for Mikhail Barcelona. Drawn beautifully, well-rated. Up to his right trip. Shanghai Dragon's consistent. Nitro Express has been racing well, hasn't won for a while, and Baby Storm's good enough to win. He'll just need some luck.